And I'm still going to present. We're still going to do a presentation, but we'll open it up for questions and whatnot. Let me get this out of the way. Let's do a share here. All right. All right. So I am really actually excited. I love doing calls, period, with this group specifically. And I feel like if you got a chance to listen to Tamara's training last night, like this really coincides and you can kind of use them together. So if you haven't watched that one, you definitely want to give it a chance. So today is Tuesday, July 22nd. This is our July Leader Hub call for the Real Deal Dream Team. Super excited to kick it off. This is going to be something that really separates like being a boss or a manager from a mentor and a coach. And I often have people that when they're talking to me about signing up, like they want me to almost be their boss. And I'm like, I have to tell them, I'm like, listen, I'm a leader and I'm your coach, but I'll never be your boss. And that's going to be something that separates building a team that stays and being an example, honestly. So you build a team that doesn't just grow, but it duplicates. So if you ever felt like you're carrying your whole team on its back, constantly asking questions, you're the only one that feels like it's in it, you're the one making graphics, running Zooms, chats, this is going to be for you because we're here to not just hustle harder, but to multiply smarter. And some of you might be in the place where that is true, that you're the only person that feels that way. So, but that's not the end all be all. So this is a conversation that's important because you can hustle your way to success, but that is not going to be long term. You want to lead your way to sustainability, something that lasts longer. At some point, doing it all yourself will be a cap on your growth. It's not going to be about how hard you work. It's going to be about how many people you can help rise alongside of you. And if you guys can please just help me out and put make sure you're muted too, because I didn't get a chance to mute everyone before I started this. All right. So I want you to shift your mindset because we're not building a business. Yes, you are, but you're not just building a business. You want to build other leaders. If you're here, you're a leader. Honestly, I always say that people can be a leader without even having a team yet because it is really how you show up. But if you're here, you have some type of team going on. Oh, where do we go here? Okay, so we're going to rip off the Band-Aid a little early because sometimes the truth stings a little bit. You might be the bottleneck. And what that means is if your team cannot function without you, if you're the one answering every single message, making every graphic, running every call, you're the ceiling. And that's not because you're not amazing. Honestly, it just sometimes ends up happening that way, but it could be because other people aren't feeling like they can lead, like there's an opportunity for them to do it. A lot of times we think that we're being helpful, but honestly we're holding people back from stepping up when we're the one to do that all the time. So we're going to talk about red flags. These are signs that you might be leading alone. Your team's energy rises and falls with you. It depends on how you're doing. If you're there, your team is doing the same. You feel exhausted, you're drained, you're burnt out. You might even feel resentful. You're like, oh my gosh, like it's my team. And you feel like if you don't do it, that it won't get done. They're not stepping up. But I want you to know that these aren't signs of failure. They're signs that you've kind of outgrown the solo hustle phase and it's time to level up into leadership that's going to last. It's time to become that leader. So real leadership isn't doing more. It's about creating more leaders. Casting vision, that was actually our very first leadership call if you haven't watched it. Trusting people before they're ready. Empowering your team to take ownership. you're not trying to create carbon copies of yourself. You're trying to pull out greatness of them. I know our team wouldn't be successful if it was a bunch of little Britneys. Honestly, it would be a hot mess. I promise you. Like, I need other people in their strength to show up in ways because I do not have all the answers. I'm not strong in all the areas. And if I think of if my whole leadership team was a bunch of little Britneys, it actually makes me laugh because I'm like, oh my gosh, it would be such a hot mess. We need someone to hold it together. Like, we appreciate other people's strengths. So, and it's about helping people find that strength and greatness in them, right? So most of you probably already have potential leaders that are already on your team. And I'm going to say most because you might not yet. So, but that's again not the end. That just means you haven't enrolled them yet. But you might have them on your team. So it's about noticing them. You're going to look for someone that's always consistent, no matter what's going on. People that plug in without needing a babysitter, essentially. They're just, they don't need you to be like, hey, make sure for every little thing and every little promo, and they're lost in the sauce. Like, a leader will know where to find things and what's going on. They're the ones that are cheering on people in the chat. Chats are a great way to find those. Like, they're answering questions for people they don't even know. And they're like, what? And they're asking what's next without being told. One thing that really stood out to me on Tamara's training yesterday was that leaders are being a self-starter. We don't have a boss. I don't have anyone telling me, hey, Brittany, you should do this Zoom, this, make this post at all. And a lot of times, like when I started the industry, there was no blueprint for my former company. There was no trainings on how to start a nail bar and do a part. Like, we had to create all of that. And if we didn't do it, then no one did. And so I know for sure that if you see someone that's a self-starter, that is a potential leader, even if they haven't grown a team yet, or maybe not have those skills. A really good way that I track this is when someone joins me, I send them a really quick blurb, like welcome to the team. And I have like a little quick form for them to fill out. It gives them the link tree to the pages, and I ask them to send a picture. Okay. I'm going to tell you, and I enroll a lot of people. There are so many people that I have to chase down to be like, hey, did you get added to the page? Did you fill out the form? The ones that do it right away, that, okay, this is someone that, I can match their energy. They have potential. They're a self-starter. I'm not, and it can be like that little test like that, like, hey, do this. So it doesn't have to be like anything like super crazy. It can just be like someone enrolls, you ask them to do a couple things, and did they do it? And you're like, and so that's kind of a quick way, to figure it out. I wanted to make sure. So it's not always loud. Sometimes it's steady. And I don't want you to overlook someone that's quiet. Maybe it's not the person you enrolled. Maybe it's the person underneath them. Maybe it's the person underneath them. And, it's not, and how we make this income here, leverage the long-term income, are using those networks. So it might not be your first front line. Like, there's a lot of people where I'm probably working more with the person that they enrolled because the front line isn't showing up as a leader, but their second one is, or their third one is. And so don't be like, oh, leaving it on someone, because it could be anyone there. Or, like I said, you may haven't enrolled them yet. So if you're thinking like, oh my gosh, I really don't have anyone, you're just not there yet. You haven't enrolled them yet. So most people won't step into leadership until someone calls it out of them, because they just, aren't sure. So I want you to start kind of using, different language when you're talking to people. I love telling people like that you'd be amazing at mentoring. I see leadership in you. Have you thought about helping others like you're doing? When you see them helping others, celebrate that. You'd be amazing. Can I show you how I do this? Invite them, give them little things. People borrow belief before they build it. And so I know for me, when I was just starting out, it meant so much when I was asked to do something like be a moderator of the team page. Like that was a big deal for me. And I was just like, oh wow, they see something in me. They're giving me a little bit more you know, they're wanting a little bit more from me. And when I think like long term of this about how sometimes someone needs to believe in us before we can believe, I've told this story before, but like literally, gosh, years ago, I was in front of a judge and he was deciding whether or not to send me to prison or give me another chance. And I had messed up so many times. And he said in front of everyone, and I still always remember it, he's like, I believe in you. I know that you can get clean and you're going to do amazing things with your life. And I did not believe it at that moment at all. But like I said, that was 2009. And I probably remind myself like of him, his name, how he said that at least once a week because I didn't have anyone that believed in me. And I think of when I was working at Red Lobster, when I got a little more responsibility, hey, count the drawer, check people out. Like sometimes we have to give those tasks to people and then they'll start to be, oh my gosh, I can do this. I am good at this, you know? J.K. Rowling, I mentioned this story in the team page, and you know, however whatever you think about her, I love Harry Potter, but she was, and I love her story. She was a single mom on welfare, and she was writing the book in coffee shops, and she was rejected by 12 publishers. It took her 7 years from the first idea to the book hitting shelves, and so I always think about if she quit at rejection number 6 or year 3. And then I think of my own story. I was telling someone this morning. Like, I was my own best customer for over 6 months. I wasn't enrolling anyone. I was watching people jump into the business that I was doing and getting super recognized, promoting through the ranks. And I was thinking, like, a leader is going to use that as inspiration. And what would I have done if when I had those moments of doubt, if I would have quit, I wouldn't have changed mine and my family's life. So the business is the same. The magic isn't in how fast it happens, it's about not quitting before it does. And you have to believe this for your team to believe it for themselves. So I want you to like think of that like, do I believe this in myself? Because unless you believe it for yourself, you'll never be able to pass that belief on to your team and be like, no, I really, really believe this. So micromanaging can feel efficient sometimes. And I'm sure if there's any moms here, you know, sometimes it feels like if you don't do it, it's not going to get done right. Like I literally feel that way. It's so hard to let go of the reins in certain things in my life. Oh gosh, and I definitely there's certain things like even when I think over the years as a leader, like I was running the team space with someone and she's like, "Give me something to do." And I'm like, "No, like it's always been something hard for me." I'm like, "No, I need to do it." And then you'll use the example of like, "See, this is what happens when because, you know, things don't have to be perfect. You have to let that go." But it feels efficient, but it kills duplication. No one's ever going to do it perfect, and no one's ever going to do it like you. You know what I mean? And that's fine because your goal isn't to do it for them, it's to teach them to do it on their own in their own way, honestly. And this can look like giving them scripts, plug and play tools, boards. Like I stress that if you're on this call and you haven't attempted to use boards, I really challenge you to do it because it is a great plug and play. And this is and it's a great way to teach your people to be self-starters. Like I try not to just give people information now. I'm always like, is it in boards? Have you looked at boards? Go in there, or just telling them it's there and having them find it themselves. And then just, you know, permission to figure it out while they go. A great way as a leader is to show them that you don't have the answers. I don't know, let me look it up. Or, you know, I really don't know the answer. Let them mess it up. Let them try. That's how they grow. That's how all of you have grown is you know, you kind of failed forward. You didn't do it perfect, but you decided, you know, to learn through it, show up anyways. I love and then hate. It's a love hate thing. Looking at my Facebook memories every single day. I'm like, oh my gosh, especially like earlier, like before like 19, even I'm like, oh my gosh, why were you posting that stuff, Brittany? But I still did it and I learned from it, you know what I mean? And so use those examples, show people, you know? Ah. So people rise when they feel trusted. Give your team small leadership moments. Let them run the welcome posts. You know, say, hey, your job this week is if Brittany posts an incentive in the dream team or a post, you share it in the chat. Make hey, you know, make sure they're shouting people out. Reach out to them. Hey, did you see so and so is qualified? Have you shouted them out? Because they may not even know to be checking for those things. Because this also comes through duplication and creating a culture. You do it, you tell them to do it, and then their people do it, and then you know it's supposed to trickle down in theory, but they may not even know how to do it. Hey, will you lead an? I want to do a working power hour. Do you think we could do that together? Give them ownership opportunities. Like I said, a big one for me was being asked to be the moderator of my uplines team page. It was like she is the biggest team in the company at the time. Well, through my whole career, actually, but it was like the biggest team space at the time. And when she asked me to be a moderator, man, I felt like I was like it's funny now in theory, but it meant so much to me. Like we had like an admin moderator chat and we were on it and we were like, this person would cover these posts the week and this person would cover that. And it was like a serious thing. And this was before I ever really became a leader. She gave me that opportunity to do that. And it really does, you know, is about the smaller things. Hold on here. So, a big thing, and you guys probably hear me say this a lot, is celebrate actions, not just outcomes. I was actually talking to Carrie about this a couple days ago because we were talking about how to use the glow up. The Glow Up Gang group. That is a great tool that we all can use together as a team, and that we could do an incentive around just inviting people. So it's not based off sales. It's not based off. It's just you know doing the action. There's a few of you that I've seen do really good incentives for, and not even real incentives. You recognize your team's actions. I think I saw Megan last month when her and her team were doing a stories thing, and she was like sharing that stuff. Like, or you see someone doing an event, like anything like that. You know, this is huge because we can't just celebrate promotions or paychecks. That you know those are things that be celebrated, but everyone's on their own time. And so I don't want anyone to feel like they're not winning because they haven't promoted or they don't have like this super huge paycheck, because that's not true. We have to celebrate the habits that led to those things. When someone has those things, it's because they have the habits down. So, you know, there's certain things that, you know, deserve recognition. Posting consistently, hosting their event, even if no one shows. I saw someone make their own and celebrate these things about yourself, like to your team. Hey, I did a bunch of follow ups. No one responded, but I'm so glad that I did it. Things like that. Following up with courage, showing up after you know you were ghosted. Hey, I reached out to this person, they told me, oh they laughed and told me no way in hell, but you know I still did it, you know what I mean? The action is always the win. Um, the outcome's just the result, but the result doesn't come unless they're taking the action. And so many people will just judge the result as success. And that's not, you know, the result comes from having, you know, taking the action, getting defeated. Like I said, you might see, oh, Brittany enrolled 30 people, but what you don't see is Brittany was told no or ghosted by 300 people. And that's just the case for all of us. So celebrating the actions and not just the outcomes is really important. And, you know, for your team culture and creating that duplication, because they're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting recognized for this. I'm celebrating this. I'm going to keep doing this. And then this is a big one. I know your way might feel better. It's what you're comfortable with. I know that they'll probably mess up a little, and sometimes we want to protect them from that. It's totally okay. If you want to scale, you have to release control. You can't take it personally either when someone's not doing the work. You match their energy and then you pour into someone else and you find new people. Like you can't get defeated if someone is not doing in a way that you meet them where they are. If someone's not doing it in the way that you think they should, or showing it in the way that you feel like, oh, they're starting this other business, or they haven't showed up, or they're not excited. Okay, check in with them, but who's next? Who can I pour into? You know what I mean? Um, Controlling kills momentum, and trust is what builds teams always. You have to let go so people can grow. I know for myself, when I think of even my business journey or my personal journey, if I had someone totally micromanaging me, I would have felt so burnt out. I definitely wouldn't have learned the different things. Like all of my big lessons have come from some type of failure on my part, some type of mistake, and then going through the end of it. So you have to think of that for yourself. And then you have to allow that for your teammates. If they're not going to feel it, if they have to feel that too. It says over functioning for people, you have to create room for them to step up and be themselves, right?
Mm.
So we're going to talk a little bit about shifting kind of how you talk to your team. And this can, obviously we most of the time talk online. So and when someone asks a question, instead of being like sending something straight to them, and I like I said, this is a challenge to myself too. I definitely have gotten better, but I know there's still room for opportunity there. Say you've got this, I'll support you, let's try it together, doing it with them and then having them lead it. I've been inviting people on to do the opportunity calls with me, other leaders, in hopes that they will lead their own, feel more confident leading their own. Let me do it with you, and then you do your own. It's going to be the difference between being a boss and a manager and mentoring. Letting your people feel so confident that you're going to be there for them, but it's like little baby bird leaders, letting them fly on their own, but they know that you got them regardless of whatever that looks like. And so just it can be just a tweak of different languages. Hey, does someone have this? You can just be like, you know what? I think I saw that in boards, and then step away from the chat. Give them the opportunity to look it up. Or if someone asks a message, you always see the preview and you're like, oh my gosh, this question has been answered a million times. Don't answer it for a while. Put your phone down or don't, and then maybe come back later. Most of the time, they're going to find it. And if they didn't, then they're probably, not there yet. They still need some hand holding, and that probably is not your next leader like next month. So it's just certain, tests like that in your language makes all the difference. So I'm thinking of like different leadership challenges this week when you go on this week, the rest of the month, I would say even. I want you to think of 3 people on your team who have been showing up. And if you don't have 3 people yet, that's fine. Think of one. If you don't have one yet, then you need to start enrolling. And I'm going to, that's just me, tough love. You have to start enrolling if you can't think of one yet. I want you to message directly, speak life into them. Maybe tell them about this call. Maybe send them Tam's call. Hey, I really thought about you and I really want you to hear this. It made me think about you. I see potential in you. Speak life into them. And then invite one of them or that person to, maybe you don't do Zooms. Ask them to co-host a Power Hour Zoom, run a chat, become a moderator of the group, do recognition for the team. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to see willingness. My husband sees me use this phrase all the time when I'm talking about people that I mentor is I need to give them a willingness check. And so I told you guys how I do that in the very beginning when someone signs up is, I ask them to fill out the form, join the pages and send me a picture. That is their first willingness check. Now, over time, that looks different from how you're coaching, but that's really it. Willingness is always going to be a sign of how hungry someone is for leadership, for promoting through the rank.
Mhm.
Because, like I said
Um,
yesterday on Tamara's call, I'm like, everyone is
Catherine just
hungry, right?
provided
Everyone
money
wants to
with one
eat,
yet.
but
What's a
who's willing
big
to hunt?
team?
Who's willing to go out there and actually do the thing? So if you ask someone, hey, can you moderate this, whatever for me? And they say no, then they're just not willing yet. And, it might be someone else because a lot of people, if they're looking for leadership, if they have the desire to do more, they're going to take whatever opportunity you hand them. They're going to be like, yep, I got this. If you're like, hey, I'd love for you to run an opportunity Zoom for the team, give me a date. I'll drop it in the chat. So you guys know I'll ask in the leader hub, or if you're in the director chat, hey, I need someone to do this. It's not lost on me who shows up right away and it doesn't mean they're not, maybe they're busy or whatever. It's just a willingness check. Everyone is at different stages of their business. Um, and sometimes you might feel scared, but do it anyways. You know what I mean? But you can just kind of see who's your next leader, who's going to be your leader, who's going to be your next leader by how willing they are to do little tasks like that. Seemingly little, like I said, seemingly little to you, but it's a big deal to them because, like I told you, I thought it was a big deal that I was made the moderator of my leaders page in my former company. So the thing is, you don't build a legacy by doing more yourself. Being the top seller, it's great, right? And we have the potential to make money selling. It's going to be by creating more leaders like you, someone else that's showing up in a way for their team and also their personal business and rolling and leading that way. You have to multiply through others. It's not about being the best on the team yourself. You have to a leader. They don't have ego. They're humble. It's about helping others be the best of their team. So, it's about linking arms and you're letting go of control. And it's trusting the process. And so, like I said, when we started this, if you haven't watched Tamara's training, I definitely think you do because I feel like a lot of this goes together as far as who you're looking for to become the next leader and how you do that for your team. But it's not your job to carry them. So, we don't rise by followers, we rise by creating leaders, and we want to build something that lasts longer than 3 months, 6 months, a year, 10 years. We want to build something that outlives us, a legacy. So that's kind of, and that's by building other leaders, y'all. So, does anyone, I want to chat a little bit if you guys have any questions. We ended up a little bit earlier. Any like follow ups? You guys can unmute yourself. I'm going to stop sharing. Oh, a lot more showed up. It started out as a small group. Anyone have any like thoughts or takeaways through this? Anyone think of who could be their leaders on their team?
I definitely have a few people that I'm going to reach out to after this call to motivate them.
No. And it's just, any of you feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm the leader. I need to find other leaders. Teresa, I see you shaking your head. Tracy, I see you shaking your head. Megan, yes. And that's okay. Still searching. Yeah, and that's okay. We do. Like I said, for even when I think of my former company, like it took a long time. And then also people will surprise you too. Like there are going to be people, and I think I said I met this lady. She wasn't on her team in Mexico. She signed up in 2019 or 2020 with pharmacy, but she really was just like discount, and then she started really trying to work the business last September, and then just promoted to director. So that was like 5 years. She was like not, so you'd never know, someone could, and I have that experience too with Color Street, of someone. Oh, Tamra, what did she say? She started Color Street in 2017. She was there, but she didn't really start working her business and look at leadership till 2020, 2021. So could you have a Tamara Sweezy 3 years down the road? I think that's worth hanging out, like, seeing, because and that's why it's also important to meet people where they are as well. Like maybe they don't have leadership or they don't have even doing this like as a business on their mind. Still nurture them with a discount, still nurture them with the wellness stuff because you never know when their life situation might switch where they're like, oh gosh, this is a real income opportunity. I need to make this work. But yeah, some of you, you might be the leader on your team right now. And so you have a few hungry for the business. So you're going to work with them. That's, yeah, Donna. And that's one is trying, one's thinking about moving from personal use to selling. And it is a process. And I definitely noticed that with pharmacy is a lot of people start just thinking they're going to shop for themselves. And then sometimes I'm saying, so now I've been here for 5 months. There are people that joined me in February that have been on the team that are now like, I've been watching posts. Like, what would I do if I wanted to work this as a business? That's 5 months that they've been trying the products that they're like, okay, I think I want to do this. How would I launch it as a business kind of thing? People are all on their own time frame, so you don't forget about them. You just maybe you're not like doing, you're not bothering them or making them feel like they're failing in any type of way. You meet them where they are and then pour in to the ones that want this as a business. Some people just don't see it yet. So did all of you get a chance to watch Tam's training then? I think I saw most of you on it. Okay, yeah, good. And that I thought of a few that haven't hit 9% yet that I'm like, yeah, it was so good. And I'm like, okay, they definitely need to hear this. And then there's people that are leaders and they might just need to hear the message because there was some tough love in there. I feel like it's easy to make like what someone does for a business to have that success and like, are we really doing a lot sort of thing. So well, I'm going to record this. I'm trying to think. I think we've got an opportunity call tomorrow, so definitely try to get some people on it. And then I'm going to be doing our team's first working power hour Thursday to see how that goes. But and then tonight. So tonight's training, I'm doing it for Amy's team. It's on creating team culture, which I feel like we have a really good culture here. You guys make me so proud with that. So, but just, chugging along. The promo's over, but I feel like it's always a promo at pharmacy. Like even when there's not, it's like, dude, it's like $19 and it's 50% off. Like you can really, people don't know. Like you can always frame it as a promotion. Like I literally do that. I'm like, hey, yeah, this is what's going on right now. $19.99, you get this sample box. Like they don't know. People think kits are like $500. So but I definitely reach out to those people. And, I'm always just a message away, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me today. See you all soon. See some of you at the pool party this weekend. Bye, guys.